Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? Welcome to another episode of the Black Line Brief. I'm your host, Matthew McKim. Sorry, I was setting up to the very last minute. My screen should have been only on me, and you shouldn't have seen that, but it's okay. It's a little sneak peek of what we're going to watch tonight. But let me make it bigger. All right. I have been searching and looking for, not just content on Erika, but even I've been like researching like Tyler Boyer, previous appearances he did prior to Charlie Kirk's assassination. Charlie Kirk himself, I was just watching his last interview. A lot of these were not publicly available. You have to like subscribe to Fox Nation in order to see their full form interview. Like the Erika Kirk interview was filmed between December 18th and December 21st while she was doing the Amfest event. So talk about busy. And it's very interesting. We're gonna enjoy ourselves tonight. And depending on how long we go, I almost got through the whole last interview Charlie Kirk ever did. He did it the morning of on September 10th. It was literally right before he went to UVU. But depending on how much time we have, we could get into it, or I might save it for a separate video, just because I didn't get to finish going through the whole thing and prepare. So I don't want to be too hasty with that. And I kind of wanted to have its own thumbnail and title. This one was already created, and it's, you saw the thumbnail and the title. It's just about Erika Kirk, and an interview that I don't think many people saw. I'm not going to make the claim that like 100% no one saw it. I never saw it. I saw like a 10-second clip of it, but I never saw it in full form. And I don't know that it was like, it's not publicly available in full form. You can only see small clips of it without subscribing to Fox Nation, which I ended up doing just to be able to watch it. But it's good and it's worth watching. It's going to give us a lot of insight. And then, whether I do the Charlie Kirk one or not, a lot of the stuff he covers in it, we actually will know what he thought on a lot of things that Erika Kirk has come out and said that are in complete opposition to what he actually felt. And I'll just give you a little tidbit. One of the things she said is that he developed a vision-led organization, not a founder-led. No, he said it himself. He said, you can't do it and you shouldn't do it. He said, you cannot separate the founder from the company. And if you do, it'll go down. And so, I mean, there's a lot of good things in his last interview that really, I don't know, maybe they don't want a lot of people to see it because it is in complete opposition to everything TPUSA is doing and saying. So, I mean, we'll see if everyone can stick around for it. If they want to, we can get into it. I just didn't pre-watch the last like 7-8 minutes. So we'll see. Excuse me. All right. So I'm going to set this up. This is Erika Kirk with Shannon Bream, Fox Nation, in December. During the same time she did the Amfest event and the Nicki Minaj, and she also, what is it? For JD Vance. She publicly endorsed JD Vance for president in 2028. That all happened in this 3-day period, December 18th to the 21st in 2025. Which is interesting too, because remember, she said in one of the clips we saw before that her family friend, which we know is Stacey Sheridan, told her to take it easy in December and take a vacation. And we looked at her schedule for December. She didn't do that. And so far her schedule for January, she didn't do that either. But all right, let's get right into it. Oh, little housekeeping. Thank you guys so much for joining. Please hit the like and subscribe. It does help the channel. And that's the best way you can support. I don't need anyone to give money or anything like that. Simply liking and subscribing the channel. That's all I'm asking. Okay. I appreciate it. It actually helps a lot. All right. And yeah, I'll show you guys this too. Where we're at right now on subscribers, we're at 1,640. I've noticed that if I'm not posting content daily all the time because I'm such a small and new channel, it kind of plateaus. And so I'm trying my best with all the other obligations I have and things going on in my life to try to post as often as I can. And I honestly love hanging out with you guys too. I love seeing the chat and seeing your guys' activity and how, involved and active you guys are. So it's really cool to see. I go back and read everything. I don't know if you guys have seen, like, I'll give you a thumbs up on almost all of your comments, except for if I don't 100% agree with it. I end up not, I don't want to say thumbs up to something that I don't personally believe, but I'm not going to thumbs down it, and I'm not going to delete it unless it's like super inappropriate. Then if it's not nice, then I do take it off because it's just not what I want in my channel. And I don't want that in our community. And all right, enough out of me. Let's get going. Let me switch back to here. Let me make sure it's sharing. Cool. All right, let's go.
With us. Welcome to Fox News Sunday.
Thank you.
So just thinking back on that day, the memorial, to me, I've never seen anything else like that. And to have the sitting vice president, the secretary of state, basically gave what I think is one of the clearest, most succinct, full gospel sermons of the Christian faith. What did that day mean for you personally? Do you think something was sparked there, or it was a continuation of the idea of revival?
It was a continuation. When Charlie was murdered, that was the spark. But the memorial service solidified that spark, and the power that the Holy Spirit has been totally unleashed in a way that I don't think any of us could have imagined. And to have hundreds and thousands of people all together singing hallelujah, that is a slice of heaven on earth that I'll never, you can't even articulate that. It was.
You can't articulate it, but I'll just articulate it anyway, she says. You just did. You just did articulate it. But all right, you
so
can articulate
powerful.
it.
And to have our leaders also talk about the Lord and their faith. And it was just.
No, to me, those leaders that I've never heard talk about their faith in depth, I've never seen them live out their faith. Not genuinely. I mean, they use it politically when it is convenient and beneficial to them. But no, this is the first time that I've seen any of them in depth actually talk about their faith and proclaim to be that much of a Christian as they claim to be that day. Don't forget, this was an opportunity that a lot of those political individuals, Sergio Gore, I mean, Stacey Sheridan was up there too. They could not pass up. 270,000 people were there and in the overflow, the next arena next door, and millions were watching live. This was a rally without being a rally for the Republican Party. And that's why Trump. So we heard two different stories of how this event was pulled off in 8 days. Which one's the truth? We still don't know. Barron even went over that with the guy. I forget the name of the media company that put it on. But Mikey McCoy said that Trump called him and that Trump made it happen in 8 days. So it's interesting. They knew. I mean, to me, this looked like an event that had been planned ahead of time. It really did. To pull something like this off in 8 days, granted, I mean, we do know all of the employees were working around the clock, 20-something hour days, not sleeping, not eating, sleeping in the office, 80-hour weeks. So, I mean, maybe it is possible. I don't know how many employees they have in total, but I think even in that, something like this doesn't happen in 8 days. I mean, the sure permits and everything like that. I guess if you have the president, he can throw his weight around. But to me, it seemed like something that they already had in the works. I don't know if you guys saw Jesse on Fires. I know some people say they don't really like his content, but he's not the only one. Trigger Smart, a lot of people are speculating since the Candace Owens shows, the one she did where she told everyone that when Charlie Kirk had a falling out, right when Erika came into the picture in 2018, it was due to Charlie lying to her face. And I said this in a previous video, is the Charlie I thought I knew the same Charlie that was there in the end? And my speculation is that the Charlie I knew was that Charlie all the way through. However, when Erika Kirk and all those people, Tyler Boyer, Blake Neff, Mikey McCoy, all those people, right? And Andrew Colvett, when they came into the picture at the same time that Candace Owens was somehow either forced out or they made a way for there to be a falling out. Even she said how she found out about that meeting is suspicious, like it was designed for there to be this wall between them so that she could not be in his ear. That during that time, up until, I don't know, 5 months before he passed away, he might have strayed off the path. And maybe his focus and what he allowed in and the money and the donors and the influence didn't take Candace's warnings about Stacey Sheridan and how much money like this can have undue influence on you and the power they will try to exert over you. But I think he found out. I think he realized it. And I think he had enough of it. I think he let it be as long as he had to. And then when he was like, no, I'm not doing this. You're not going to tell me who I can have on my stage at my events. You're not going to tell me who I can and can't be friends with. And I think he was done. Some people are speculating that he's still alive. I don't know. Jesse on Fire, I can't wait to watch his second episode. His first episode is interesting. I'm not saying I believe it. That would mean a lot of things. And so before I even give my 2 cents on that, I'm going to do a lot more research before I say anything on that. I'll just say his first episode was interesting. I'll just say that.
It was powerful, but it also set the tone. It set the tone that this is something so much greater than any of us could have ever imagined. And it was a powerful, powerful day.
I mean, you come from a place of in your home, in schools. I mean, it was a community of faith. I mean, that's definitely been a part of your life. And it's one thing to memorize these verses. God is close to the brokenhearted, or he works all things for good for those who love him, called to according to his purpose. What they meant for evil, he meant for good. But to live it is something totally different. I mean, you've walked into a different way of experiencing those verses.
It's true. And it's interesting because
this is my take on memorizing scripture. We're called to do it. It's important. It helps protect your mind and your spirit. However, when you try to use scripture that you've memorized as tools of manipulation, as a way to put on this outward looking appearance that you're something you're not, when the scriptures you quote don't really match up with what you're living, to me, it's fake. And it just shows that I don't think that you really embody the scriptures that you're claiming. And to me, that's what I've seen in Erika Kirk. That's just me, though.
Getting the same question, how could you forgive him? How could you forgive the man who murdered your husband?
That's a great question, Erika. We do want to know that. 8 days after the assassination, he has not been convicted. So you have not seen any evidence that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that he did it. And when you met with Candace Owens, she asked you, and you said, you know what we know, which is basically enough to have extreme doubt that he was there, that he had anything to do with it, let alone be so sure that he's guilty that you could get up on stage and forgive him for it, which leads the next thing, which is, then it wasn't genuine, it wasn't real. Then why did you do it? And it seems like everything you've done since then, you want to rush the investigation. You want to rush to judgment, rush to convict. You want to move on. You want us all to accept that Tyler Robinson did it. You don't want people asking questions. You don't like other narratives of who might have done it, what else could have happened. So to me, you don't want transparency. You don't want truth. You want everyone to swallow the bitter pill, which is your version of that day of events, which allows you to just pick up change everything that Charlie was doing and move on in the direction which I think he stood against with BB and ended up dying for.
How are you able to move forward every day? And the answer to me is just so simple.
Is it?
You trust in the Lord, and when you trust in the Lord.
So that's, again, okay, these are scriptures that's straight out of the Bible, you guys. And I know you guys know this, but she's using this stuff to like hijack our faith and manipulate us, that it's that easy. No, just because you say it is and you quote a scripture along with it, it still doesn't make sense, Erika. This is, so September, October, November, December, 3 months. 3 months after your husband was publicly assassinated. You have 2 little kids under the age of 4. You don't know who did it. We don't know. There's no conviction. You haven't seen the full evidence because you're not part of the prosecution or the defense. So you know really nothing. So you've not gotten real answers as to who did it and why they did it. And it's just that easy because of faith, because of your spirituality. No, it doesn't work like that. Even the strongest and most mature Christian would be wrestling with this because it's just human nature, because we're not God and we can't see the future and we don't know his purposes. His ways are above our ways. So yeah, it would be extremely difficult and we don't understand. That's why she's asking it. But then you answer in such a cavalier way, like it's just obvious. Oh yeah, da da da. No, Erika, it's not. It's really not that simple.
You do it. And faith is so powerful when it's lived out, but I don't have this massive in-depth answer.
No one asked you for a massive in-depth answer. We know you're reading off a teleprompter or you have scripted responses. You've practiced for this interview and you're just trying to remember the lines. There might be someone just offset to the left that's like holding up cue cards for you when you stumble and you look over and they're like, line, give me my, okay, there it is. We just want the truth, honestly. We want to see that you're not reading a cue card, that you're not repeating a memorized script, talking points. We've been dying so desperately just to see just a shred of humanity and genuine authenticity from you. We haven't seen it. That's what's been making the hair on our neck stand up. We don't understand it. Why can't you be genuine, authentic about your husband, about you, and what you're doing? And that's what screams suspicion for all of us.
God is good, and the world is evil. Don't be surprised when the world acts like the world.
It's that simple, guys. Evil killed my husband, but God is good. The world is evil. So that's it. Close the book. There's the answer. That's what I just accepted it. Day 8, I've just accepted it. I forgave him. God is good. Devil's bad. It's that simple. Why are you guys making this so difficult? Why are you guys overthinking this? Erika's not overthinking it. We shouldn't be either. Give me a break, man.
But I know that the Lord will use everything. And yes, it is important to memorize Bible verses. It's your anthem.
Eyes.
It's to be able to reposture your heart. There's certain moments in life where you need to have those words and those verses to remind you to get your mind and your heart right. But it's one of those things where God's jurisdiction is your heart, and he looks at your heart. The rest of the world will judge you on your outer appearance. Let that be the noise that, it's out there. But when you know without a shadow of a doubt that the Lord is your refuge, the Lord is your strength, and you wake up every morning and you say, God, give me the grace.
You guys, so my first bachelor's degree, well, like so close. I like didn't finish. I have like a class, but was in theology. I was almost done. I told some people on here why I ended up not finishing. The VA made me do like a labor market survey of like, could I be employed? Why did they wait for me to almost be done with the degree and ask me to do it? I don't know. But then they're like, you can't get a job with a bachelor's degree in theology. You're going to need an MDiv. You need to go on. And they weren't willing to do it at the time. But anyways, there's different ways to translate the word know and knowing, right? You can like know something and then you can like know something through lived experience. Like I know my wife in a way that her best friends don't know her, right? I know my mom in a way that her brother doesn't know her, right? And vice versa. And so, yeah, you can know some of these things and you can say that like that, but that just doesn't mean it's that easy and that simple, Erica. Like you keep trying to simplify the most complex and difficult thing in life: death, unexpected death, tragic, early death, violent death. And you want us to believe that it's just, you just know it's just easy. And yeah, trying to minimize that as if that's why you are the way you are, it just doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me.
Show me the direction I'm supposed to go, use me. Just how Charlie said on stage 2 years ago here at Amfest, you know, use me, Lord. Here I am.
Oh, did you guys notice the book in her hand? She's holding the Stop in the Name of, I think it's Stop in the Name of God book. Obviously, Charlie's last book that Candace reported that Charlie said in July to Megyn Kelly he was in the process of writing. She opened it up. I might have missed that part, but Erika wrote the foreword. I wonder if it was always like, if Charlie was always having her write the foreword, or she wrote the foreword after his assassination and then also wrote the ending. I mean, who finished the book? Who finished the book? You guys think it was Josh Hammer? You think it was BB? Oh, Ben Shapiro probably finished the book and she wrote the foreword. That's why he was at Amfest. It was a quid pro quo. You do this for me, I'll do that for you. Okay, that makes sense.
And when you surrender your life to that, in that posture, everything else around you is just irrelevant, because God is so good.
And that's the second time you've said that God is good. And
yeah, it is. But it's probably like the millionth time she said it since September 10th. I haven't had a counter, but it's a lot. And I got to say, I just couldn't do that. And that doesn't mean I'm not a Christian. It doesn't mean I don't believe in God. It doesn't mean I don't have faith. It just means that the experience of losing your husband, your spouse early to an unexpected violent death, the natural thing would be to wrestle with your faith, not immediately accept it, forgive the guy, and tell all of us. And this is like that whole persona, like she's Mother Mary, you guys. She's like Megyn Kelly. You just seem to have such a better connection with God than all of us. And I mean, loved Megyn Kelly before all of this. Don't really like Megyn Kelly much anymore, because she seems to be on the side of TPUSA, spreading the FedSlop narrative, the talking points, doing fluff pieces for Erika, and not really reporting on the news like Tucker is, or Ian Carroll, or Candace Owens, or Baron Coleman. And so, yeah, that's suspect to me.
a lot of people would look at a young mom, a young widow, and say, how in the world can you say God is good? You've said that you're not angry at God. You're not saying why.
Thank you, Shannon. Let's see what she says.
Why me? Why this situation? And I know that grief is a journey, and every minute by minute is different.
Erika's grief is not a journey. It's an arrival. It happened. And then the next day she already arrived at acceptance. I don't know. She just jumped the first 4 steps.
But what are your conversations like with him now about where you're at?
With God?
That's weird. When I watched this the first time, I think she thought Shannon might have been saying conversations with Charlie. Or else why ask that? I mean, Shannon thought it was obvious. She didn't need to say it out loud. Erika was confused with who? With God? I don't know. That's just what I thought. But let's see what she says in response to that question. What are your conversations with God like now, since the assassination death of your husband? It's going to be insane.
Quite frankly, they're kind of the same.
Everything's the same, guys. Erika's the same. Nothing's changed. Charlie's dead. Erika, nothing's changed. Her conversations with God are the same. Her faith is the same. Nothing has changed. Her kids have no father in their life. She's a single parent mom now. She's running a business. She has all this new identity change, life, like really big life-changing events all at the same time, like 3 different things. Husband's gone, single parent mom, CEO of a massive company in the spotlight. But you're telling me that your relationship with God hasn't changed, your communication with him hasn't changed at all? That's BS, man. Like if that much change happened that quickly, I would be needing to like lean even more on. I'd be like, there'd be so many things in relation to my spouse's death. I'd be like fighting and wrestling with God, dealing with my kids by myself. Like my prayer life would be different. My conversations with God would be totally different. It wouldn't be the same at all. My life had completely changed. Not for Erika. Everything's the same.
I've never questioned why me. I always knew that my life was not just to be lived for me.
Okay, before your husband was assassinated, I could understand that. How about now, though? Like, now do you question why me? Like, that's a normal thing. You want to be relatable to us, Erika. You want us to not see through your BS. The right answer, and your stupid PR agents, Andrew Colvett and Stacey Sheridan, lied to you, and they said, we need to make you look like, Mother Mary, holier than thou. Okay. No, make her relatable. Let her be genuine and honest. She's wrestling with her faith. She's shaking her fist at God. Why me? Nope, not Erika.
We're here for such a greater purpose. And Charlie and I both knew that. And that's why Charlie built what he built. And I talked to God, like I said, the same way. God, use me. God, heal my heart. You know my pain. You know the depths of my pain. Walk through this with me. Put the people in my path that will help heal me and guide me and direct me and keep me in lockstep with your will.
So Stacey Sheridan, Andrew Colvett, Tyler Boyer, Rob McCoy, Greg Laurie. Wait, those people, all of those people are the people you asked God to put in your life and walk with you and keep you in lockstep with him? I mean, we could have told you that. I mean, maybe that's where you went wrong. I mean, you went wrong a lot of other places, but you definitely went wrong there. We would have told you to pick some other people to be in your circle.
I don't want anything outside of God's will. I do not. Anything outside of the jet streams of God's will, do not.
You guys remember that from previous videos, right? She has these talking points, these slogans, these catchphrases that she says in every interview. This jet stream of God's will. No one talks like that. No one has these scripted responses just ready to go. And you say every single time you get on TV, Erika. Someone needs to reach out to her PR agent and be like, you guys need to get fired.
I will not even touch it with a 10-foot pole.
She said that before too. Satan, get out of here. I won't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Okay.
But even with Charlie too, I still talk to him. I'll be in the kitchen randomly being like, babe, can you believe what happened today?
But you let Andrew Colvett, Blake Neff, Frank Turek, everyone make fun of Candace for having a dream, which that is actually unconscious. Candace was asleep, Erika. You're awake, okay? Like, are you saying you see him and he's there? Like, is he really there? Was Jesse right? Is he not gone? Or you mean in the spirit? Like you see him still? Or you're talking to him in your head? Or is it out loud, but he's not there? Okay, but you can do that and it's normal, but she can't have a dream about Charlie?
There's something powerful about communication. And the veil is so thin. And I just know that prayer doesn't have to be this, heavy religious thing. It's just communication with God. It's so simple.
I mean, it is and it isn't. I mean, you're talking to literally the God of everything. I mean, it is supposed to be a deeply spiritual, personal, religious thing. Those who make light of it, pray out in public, do it for public recognition. It says, beware of those Pharisees that do that. But if you really want to be with God, go into the inner room in your inner house and do it alone in private. And you're supposed to enter into that space with reverence that you're approaching the Almighty God. But no. It's just like, I'm talking to my 2-year-old. Come on, dude. It's like, what are you having for breakfast?
You just talk to God. And that's when people say, how do you pray? You just start speaking to God. Just start talking to him.
Do you feel like you hear from him, that he speaks back to you?
But everyone's different. Everyone hears it in their own way. Some people, it's this loud, booming voice. Some people, it's something really soft in your heart. And other people, they get visions. I'm not going to judge how.
Wait, people get visions and you're okay with that? You're saying that's how some people hear from God? Erika, we need to clip this, everyone, and send this to Candace, because they crucified Candace for having a dream. Erika just said God literally speaks to people through visions. And that was her contention, was that God was speaking to her through this dream with Charlie. And you guys and you allowed Gary Melton and all of these other people to make fun of her. And they're still doing it. They're like watching, like, I don't know if you guys have seen it. Gary on Paramount Tactical is doing these live streams with, what's his name? Oh my God. The guy that gave like $435,000 check at Amfest. Oh my God, I'll think of it later. But anyways, they're literally watching her episodes live, pausing and like just making fun of her. And Gary's got a direct connection with Andrew Colvett and Erika Kirk. They're using Gary to get all of her alibis out, even though he's the worst at it because he reads it on air and then reads like, oh, don't share this on air. Oh, my bad. And it's like on camera. He's like our best inside mole. But anyway.
How other people hear the Lord's voice. But
you told Candace.
And for me, it's peace. When I'm talking to God and I don't have a peace about something, that's not of the Lord. But when I have peace, I know it's him.
Yeah. You mentioned recently Nehemiah.
Yes.
Which I thought was so interesting, because if people know
building
the
the
story,
wall. Yes.
Yes. I mean, it was a man who was a Jewish exile, but he had served the king where he was working so well that when he said, I want to go back and rebuild.
Let's look at something, guys. I looked this up. Please, everyone cross their fingers that when I go to this, it doesn't mess up the chat. I mean, mess up the stream. Let's see. Did it do okay? We're okay. All right. Let me zoom in. Right there in the middle. All right. So this is regarding Nehemiah. Sorry, I didn't mean to go too fast. Hopefully it's not too fast on you guys. All right. It's not that bad. All right. Let's go here. So I'll zoom out a little bit. That's way too close. Sorry, guys. I just didn't want to be too small on you. All right. I don't need to go in the historical reconstruction of who Nehemiah was. You guys can look in that and the time frame and where it was and all that stuff. But things to keep in mind, right? And I think it's important why she picked Nehemiah. Okay. I mean, traits. It's almost like they Googled it or they put it in chat and they're like, this is who we need to compare you to when you do your public appearances. You're going to compare yourself to Nehemiah, right? So he's loyal, trusted, wise, spiritually grounded, right? Had to do with rebuilding, right? When people were vulnerable. Let's see. There was parts of this that I thought weren't that important. This was interesting. First response was not action, was prayer, fasting, and mourning. I don't know. I don't think I saw any of that from Erika. Not that I would have seen the fasting. I mean, she did say she prayed, but I didn't see mourning in any way. But that's just me. Obviously, the building symbolism and the rebuilding, right? Boldness, faith, strategic timing. It does seem pretty strategic that you took over right away. We'll say that much. I mean, it's interesting, too, that like Nehemiah's leadership style is organizing families into work teams. TPUSA is trying to, contact families where they're at, all the way down to now going into high schools and elementaries. Hopefully we don't see any TPUSA workers end up being armed. I mean, it says armed workers for protection because they needed to protect the people rebuilding the wall. But she has refused any distractions and stayed mission focused. Yeah, I'm doing a great work. I cannot come down. That's one of her quotes that she said on one of her appearances. What's interesting was Nehemiah wasn't just a builder. He confronted injustice inside the community. I'd say you are committing injustices in the community with all the money that you've been raising and people have been donating, and you've been using it for your own enrichment and the people around you's enrichment. You got people to donate and you promised them hats, and then you gave them a 2-cent rubber bracelet. It says here debt, slavery, and corruption. He was against those things. He confronted those things. I don't think you're doing either of those things. So I don't think this is a one-to-one comparison, but I think they thought we'll focus on the good things. We won't bring up any of the bad things where they don't compare across. I don't see moral courage. I don't see a justice-oriented leader, and I don't see protection of the vulnerable. I don't see that in Erika. I mean, she has called for national repentance and covenant renewal. Oh, look at this one. He was about restoring Sabbath observance. I really think they Googled or chat GBT'd like what person. We need someone in scripture. We got all these scriptures that she can quote in the jet stream of God's will. We need someone directly that relates to like the situation she's in right now. And I think chat was like, Nehemiah. Yeah, and she's all about restoring the Sabbath. And I know Charlie was, but I mean, he wasn't done with his book. So we don't know what he was actually going to say on the matter. We know what he said publicly about it and the importance of it. I don't think the book that we have is actually fully him. I think it's been perverted. He cared as much about spiritual walls as physical ones. All right. I mean, she definitely cares about building a physical company and organization. Let's see. Constantly prayed. I can't speak to whether or not she constantly prays. And then I think that was the biggest parts of it. Oh, wait, no. These parts are interesting too. He didn't just feel bad about Jerusalem. He made a plan and executed it. I think she's pretty Philadelphia focused, pro-anist. I'm not going to say the first part. Don't want to get censored. Faced threats, false accusations, political traps, and internal conflict. All of those things apply to Erika and TPUSA, 100%. I don't think she delegates effectively, motivates people, created structure, and maintained accountability. I think she's failed in those things. And she's not confronted exploitation. She's definitely been part of exploiting the workers there, allowing them to work 20-hour days, 80-hour weeks, and then promising them that they wouldn't be fired, and then you fire them right after this. So this interview was filmed right before. So I think the first firing started end of December or beginning of January is when we started getting word that people were being fired. And then it kind of hasn't stopped since. And then let's see. Yeah, the problems kept coming, and they kept correcting, reforming, and guiding. And I think that's what they're doing at TPUSA and what she's doing. Yeah, I think Nehemiah is often studied as a model for faith-driven leadership. That's what TPUSA is, at least wanting to be. Strategic planning, crisis management, moral reform, and community rebuilding. Like it's so insane how much Nehemiah has in common with the perception they want us all to have of TPUSA and Erika Kirk. Let's see. There was another part too. Let's see. Where is it? Oh yeah. A man who rebuilt a culture, not just a wall. And I definitely think she's wanting to reshape the culture. And she even says in here, and we know that in the Show Faith by Works FAR filing, they're targeting Gen Z. And she'll make a comment at the end about Gen Z. And it shows that that is a huge focus for them because they want to be effective and have influence in the United States for years and years to come. And so they're trying to contact younger and younger Americans and start the indoctrination and brainwashing process earlier and earlier.
Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
Want to rebuild that city. The king was like, great, you can go. And I'm going to give you all of these resources. But when he got there were people who were not happy about what he was doing. They were making fun of him, but it turned into something much different, that they were like actively trying to sabotage him.
Right.
But he stood strong and he accomplished something that couldn't have been done through human effort.
Mm-hmm.
What do you draw from that story? Do you feel kind of like a modern day Nehemiah?
In some ways,
Yeah.
Because I mean, we're carrying on Charlie's legacy, and there is so much noise. I know I've said this many times before, and there will always be noise. Whenever you are over the target, the enemy, I mean, we're in enemy occupied territory. There will always be noise, and there will always be people that'll distract you. And sometimes it's not.
Yeah, but yeah, from your enemies. But the majority now, especially in December, the majority of the criticism and the noise are coming from within, not only within TPUSA and the faithful and loyal and honest employees, but also from within the Republican Party, within the Christian movement, Americans, not the left, not the Democrats. That's not who's criticizing you. That's not who's pointing things out about you and TPUSA. It's the same community you're saying you're a part of. That's what's happening.
Ill intent. Sometimes they're just, trying to course correct you, and you're like, that's not at all the direction I need to be going, because you're in lockstep with the Lord. But yes, there are times where they're saying you're so fixated and focused on what your mission is, and they're like, look at us over here, answer here. And it's like, if I spent and Charlie was the same way. If myself or Charlie spent every single second going down and responding to every accusation, responding to every insult, responding to.
And that's not true, you guys. Well, we have 630 viewers right now, which is great. So we might go right into Charlie Kirk's last interview. He says the importance of addressing criticism, and when people bring grievances about your movement, about you, about your organization, that yeah, you have to learn how to become not defensive. I don't think Erika and the people running TPUSA have learned that. I think Charlie did. And yeah, you don't need to give air to every single one. There might some that just want to throw stones. But that comes with discernment, and that comes with experience, which Charlie, I think, had over time. But Erika didn't. But she's trying to say that you just don't pay attention to the noise and the complainers. Well, no, Charlie said it's important. It's important when you're building and keeping an organization going. You have to listen. That's the marketplace of ideas. We are the consumers, and we are the ones that have something to say about the thing in which you're selling. And she's saying, doesn't matter. I don't pay attention to all that noise.
Every judgment, we would get nothing done. We just wouldn't. And at the end of, Nehemiah, he basically was saying, Lord, strengthen my hands. And so I feel the same way. Like, I'm not going to ask God to remove those people from my life. It just makes me stronger. So Lord, instead of removing these people and this noise at the bottom of the hill while I'm trying to build, just give me stronger shoulders, give me stronger hands to keep building, because that's always going to be there. That's the enemy. And that's life.
We're the enemy. Fellow Christians, fellow Republicans, supporters, donors, people that believed and followed Charlie, we're the ones that are affected the most by this. The left, I think some care, but the majority, I don't think, are the ones, having the issue up until now. From the September 10th to now, it's us. It's us. And yet you should listen to us, because it should matter. Fellow Christians in the community.
That's life. But if you remain focused and you remain mission oriented, and we have an amazing team. Turning Point USA is phenomenal. Everyone that works with us, they understand that what they're doing is so much greater than just a 9-to-5.
Yeah, it wasn't a 9-to-5. It was a 24/7. And you allowed them to do that. You exploited them and took advantage of them. They were working under the assumption that their jobs were never going to be in jeopardy as long as you were CEO. You literally, on day 5, gave them your word and promised that unless some weird, unforeseen personal reason that the individual employee would want to leave happened, there's no reason on your end that anyone would be losing their job. And yeah, we know that they're great employees. That's why they worked so hard for Charlie. And then they were giving you the benefit of the doubt as his widow, as his wife, and they were taking you at your word, because I don't think they had any other impression of you before that. And you lied to them. And you used them, and then you discarded them. And now you're doing a mass hire in 2026 to replace them.
So when you have that mixed in with purpose, mixed in with God's will, everything else is just, again, noise.
It's just easy, guys. It's just easy. It's just easy being me. You guys don't get it. It's just easy. I got God. I got Charlie. It's just a breeze.
It's a lot to manage. It's a whole new role.
No, not for Erika. Shannon, you're not listening. Take her at her word. She's telling you. No, she knows God's will. She's in the jet stream of God's will. He's right there. She just talks to him like Fred down the street. It's easy. She just knows what to do. And she's not worried about, I don't know, her husband being assassinated. She's already forgiven him. She's moved on from that. She's building. And it's easy. Screw the noise.
Not that you and Charlie weren't in this together. I mean, yeah, you were.
Shannon, what do you have that lets you believe she was actually a part of the building and the day-to-day work of TPUSA? She did midweek rise up. She did the Young Women's retreat or Young Women's Leadership Summit. They did speaking engagements together to like young married couples and to women. But no, she was not an employee of TPUSA. She was not part of the decision-making of TPUSA. She was his supporter, his helpmate, his wife, the mother of his children. But what are you saying? Who told you what, Shannon? Nothing. She was not part of the day-to-day at TPUSA.
I mean, working together and building to where you are now. I saw an article this week where young women were talking about you, and they were saying, she's a role model. They look at you managing family. And
I'd like to see who wrote that, who paid for that, kind of like the people that are in Ben Shapiro's crowd. Like Candace was like, yeah, they got paid. They have people from the Daily Wire that show up to these events that ask BS questions so that he could answer them. And then they all go, woo, Ben, you're so amazing. That's what I think the person that gave that piece. Yeah, she's a role model. No, okay, maybe to some, not to most, not to many.
now more than 1,000 employees and taking these things on and saying, one of the young women said, I look at Erika and I say, wow, if she can do it, I can do it.
That's sweet.
But speak to the reality of what it's like to try to do all of those things. And you make it look seamless.
Yeah.
There you go. Even Shannon is noticing it. She just doesn't have the journalistic integrity to be honest and say it in the way that we're saying it. You're just making it look too easy, Erika. That's weird. It's weird that you're making it look so easy as if Charlie was never there.
But there's some real struggles in there, I would imagine.
Of course. I mean, that's life. But multiple things can be true at the
Multiple things could be true at the same time. Yeah, my husband could have just been assassinated and I could be on cloud nine making millions of dollars flying in a jet, 50 grand one way, smiling on stage, laughing to the employees, talking about 70,000 in merch. How much did we do in hat sales? How many people were at this event? Oh my God, we had that many people signed up to register to vote. I mean, yeah, multiple things can be true at the same time if you're Erika Kirk.
the same time. Yes, I am grieving. Yes, along.
Prove it. Prove it. None of us have seen 1 ounce of genuine grieving from you. You can say you're grieving. I could say something about myself, but if it's not true, it's not true, man. Okay.
Alongside our great team running Turning Point USA. Yes, I'm raising my babies. And you don't separate those into different boxes.
You said you had to. You said with Charlie that you can't do both. Balance is a myth, and that Christian women with young kids should stay at home and raise their kids. And you said you're raising your kids as of December 18th, 2025. Prove it. All the women that have been fired and the other employees that have been fired from within TPUSA that have talked to Candace and others, no one has come out and said, yeah, she takes her kids with her every day. She'll say it later. Erika will say it later that she takes them to the office all the time. There's been no reporting of that whatsoever. And I just don't believe that you're taking a 1 and a 3-year-old into the office, the hours that you're working, the flying that you're doing, the appearances that you're doing. That would be so chaotic and just not good for your kids. I mean, so would not being there for your kids, but it's like, which one are you going to do? I mean, you picked being a CEO. So I guess leaving them with a nanny or some family member is just like the bitter pill you had to swallow. Like, oh, I got to bite the bullet on this one. You could have just stayed home and been a mom. You could have still just made millions of dollars off of, I don't know, the life insurance policy that you and TPUSA took out. I don't know, all of the endorsements and everything else that you were already going to rake in from Charlie being Charlie's surviving widow. You didn't have to do this. You chose to, but you didn't choose to stay home and be the mom of this 1 and 3-year-old. And now you're telling us that you're doing both. You're just not. Charlie couldn't. You said in the other interview that we watched yesterday that one of the only ways his daughter saw Charlie was through the TV. And you're in the same role now. You're doing his job. So which one is it? They're either with you or they're not. You're the mom, you're raising them, or you're not. You're not. You're the CEO. You're on the road 300 days a year. They're not with you. And you're just telling lies. And that's just another pretty intense face we got paused on the screen.
They can all coexist. And so, yeah, I take my babies to the office. I want my kids to see what their father built. I want them to be a part of it. I want the office to see, like, bring your kids to work if you need to.
Bull crap. Bring your kids to okay, maybe. Yeah, if the option was, hey, I can't come in today because my daughter's sick or she's got the flu, I bet you're like, screw that. You're bringing your kid in. They could lay in the bathroom or they can sleep under your desk. You're coming to work. We need you. Charlie's up in heaven building with Jesus. He's co-signing what we're doing. You can't eat. You can't go home and sleep. We need you here. You need to be here. Charlie would want you here. Bring your kids. Oh my God.
Like there's no reason to separate that. And you know, also too, like, okay, so
wait, there's no reason to separate your work life from your home life? What are you talking about? You want so no free time. You want it all to just like blend together. It's just, we're a family. We're all going to start living at the headquarters in Arizona, guys. That's what it is. We're all going to it's going to be one big commune cult called TPUSA.
It doesn't make sense to you or to other people, not to you directly, but you understand what I'm saying, the sentiment of it doesn't make sense to the world. Maybe it's not meant to. Maybe it's supposed to be something that inspires them and encourages them to think, okay, we live in the greatest country where you can be so many different things. You can be a mother. You can be an author.
Wait.
You can be a nurse. You can be a teacher in one full lifetime.
We know you have been literally like, I mean, almost like a secret agent. I don't know, like 17, you started a nonprofit that worked hand in hand with the US military in an orphanage in Romania. You own a Christian clothing company. This is all pre-Charlie. You own an app that helps people read the Bible, but really I think it's for tracking, like with Superfeed. Your mom's she's on the board of Superfeed with Jake Hoffman. Yeah, and you were married to one of the most influential and powerful individuals in this generation. And now he's gone, and now you're running the show. Yeah. Yeah. And you said previously that like that balance thing is a myth, that you can't do both. You have to choose, and you can't really put off having kids later just because anatomy doesn't work that way. Biology doesn't work that way. You lose the ability to have kids the older you get. You said now is the time. And then if you have them when you're young, you need to stay home and raise them because you'll lose that time. It's so precious and it moves so fast. But you chose to forsake that obligation and responsibility. And to me, you did that because you couldn't pass up. It wasn't about the legacy of your husband, because you've perverted that. You've gone a different direction. You've completely changed course. Everything he was saying no to, you're saying yes to. Everything he said yes to, you're saying no to. So don't tell me that BS, that it's about his legacy, that you're doing this for Charlie. You're not. You're doing it for yourself. And I think you're doing it for money, power, and control. That's what it looks like to me. And the more Danks and other people do investigating on and Wolves of Finance, what's going on behind the curtains at TPUSA, the more that's confirmed.
Don't have to just be one thing. And honestly, being a mother is one of the greatest honors and privileges.
Not for you, though. It was a burden that you had to shed like a piece of skin.
And job titles you could ever have. because there's something so powerful in true, authentic, biblical womanhood. And it's not something to be afraid of. It's not something that you have to be categorized as, and you don't have to fall into, you know, being a trad wife and making sourdough bread. I never fell in that category.
We know you never did, but you said you did. But if anyone really did their due diligence and looked into you the whole time, even before Charlie, during okay, so before Charlie, you were with JT Massey, you were engaged to someone else, you were with Cabot Phillips. When you were in New York, you were dating, even though you weren't. You lived in China, even though you said you didn't. You were drinking, even though you said you weren't. You were in pursuit. You worked for the Corcoran real estate firm after just being licensed. You became Miss Arizona after just becoming involved in pageants. You always have wanted fame, fortune, notoriety, and the limelight. And that didn't change when you got married. People don't just get rid of all of that about who they are. That doesn't just go away. I think that was a motivating factor of why Tyler Boyer helped you meet Charlie. We talked about that yesterday. There were 4 meetups before the interview. One didn't happen at the ticket counter in Israel. You almost saw him, but you didn't. You were there with your mom. Then the one time in the office in Arizona, but you didn't actually talk to him. Then you came back and that you did finally meet him and shook his hand in the office. And then you did the meeting in New York. So yeah, I think this was all because for such a time as this. I'm surprised you didn't use that scripture. It was for such a time as this. God anointed me for such a moment as this.
For being a boss babe and never being around your kids. There's a balance,
Which is you.
Slightly not real, but there's a way to cohesively blend your life in a way that's honoring to the Lord and what he's blessed you with.
If I was Shannon, I would ask, okay, tell me how you're doing that now. I looked and she could have pulled up Charlie's schedule, where he was the whole year prior in 2025 and 2024, how often he was on the road, how often he was home, all of his speaking engagements, all of his shows, how little he saw his family, a day here, a day there, a weekend here, a weekend there. How are you filling that role exactly the same? And now he was able to do that because he had you, Erika. He was able to do that because you were home with the kids. You don't have anyone. Well, you might have a nanny. You might have, I mean, your mom is sick, so I don't think she's taking care of them. I don't know that Charlie's parents are taking care of him. I don't know if they still live in Illinois. I think they do. Either you're paying someone to take care of your kids because it's not you. They're not flying with you everywhere. That's insane. So if Shannon did her job, she would have asked, how are you doing it? Like, no, just explain it to me. Explain it to me how you're a parent of a 1 and 3-year-old and you're on the road 300 days a year. Just go ahead. Make it make sense. Make it make sense, Erika.
But also, too, what he's held you responsible for. And so for me, like, I want my children to see, I saw at a very young age my mom do it.
There we go.
And so when people
Another
were
talking
asking
point.
me in the beginning, how are you going to do this? It's like, I saw the blueprint. I saw my mom do it. I saw.
Your mom gave you a blueprint on how to do this? I mean, obviously that's not what she said, but it's interesting. But your mom didn't do what you're doing. She didn't do what you're doing. What you're doing is totally different. But I mean, you know, if you want to use your mom as a role model, I mean, then let's be consistent, because I mean, I don't think that's a good role model. When we find out more and more about her with all of her military patents, her involvement on the board of Superfeed with Jake Hoffman and what they're doing, her deep ties to intelligence and the military, that's your influence. That's your role model. That's your blueprint. That makes sense.
I saw my mom build her company from nothing when I was 6. And yeah, was I at the Boys and Girls Club every day after school? Yes, I was. But that also built me into the person.
We need to look into that. I don't think she was in the Boys and Girls Club at the age of 6, as she might have been. But I mean, her mom, I mean, she comes on both sides of her family's money and wealth. She had money and wealth before Charlie. I doubt it. I mean, this would have been a great talking point, they said, for her to say, to be relatable to, you know, common middle class, lower class people that have to use the Boys and Girls Club for daycare in the summer or after school. I don't know. It might be true, but we can look into it to find out if it's true or not.
that I am today. I played basketball while I was there. I met with kids that were all different types of backgrounds from me. I didn't look at kids and be like, oh, you're different from me, I'm going to stay away from you. They were just my friends, you know? And so certain
I mean, that's weird. No one, like, the question wasn't like about that at all. That's weird you would point that out. But I mean, I definitely think you're different than everyone else. You act like you're different than everyone else.
things like that puts you in a position of, yeah, okay, life throws some crazy things your way, but all glory to God. I mean, you use it in a way that is glorifying to him, and you just
Most people would be able to say that when it comes to losing their partner, like a year, a 2, a 3 years after their husband or wife was brutally murdered, or in a senseless car crash, like from a DUI driver, a drunk driver. 3 months? 3 months you're talking about how God's going to use this for the glory of him, and how easy that is for you to just say that. Yeah, no, that's just not real. That's not genuine. That's fake. That's BS. It's impossible for you to be there. You'd be the first person in history to genuinely get there that fast. It's like your heart isn't inside your chest. It's like it's not beating red blood like all of ours. People are starting to speculate you're not human, Erika.
you make it work. You make it work. And I'm not going to sit in the corner in fetal position and just cry my eyes out. Yeah, there's time and place for that.
When did you do that? And no one said you need to be in the fetal position crying. We just said you don't need to be out here doing this. This is what you don't need to be doing. We're not telling you you need to be on the floor crying in the fetal position. We really just want you home, like taking care of the kids and just allowing the grieving process to start. Hopefully, we're just hoping that the grieving process will eventually kick in, and then we can eventually see the real Erika Kirk again, if she still exists, unless this is the real Erika Kirk, and what we saw beforehand was just the version she was wanting us to see then, and now this is the version she wants us to see now.
But okay, so the world expects that of me, but
No.
I don't expect that of myself.
Well, we know
No,
that.
because God didn't put that spirit in me.
No, duh.
So fight or flight mode, I'm fight mode. So
Yeah, we get it. You're a fighter. Go get him.
Well, and you and Charlie did things, I mean, he talks about in the new book about being countercultural about a lot of
Plug. I mean, she's holding the book, but Shannon had to plug the book. Shannon, you didn't read the book. Knock it off. You had one of your freaking interns read it. And like, while you're getting your coffee and getting your makeup on, you're like, tell me the freaking cliff notes of the book.
things. And I love one of the things that he said about Shabbat envy, that he loved looking around at people who were practicing the Sabbath and saying, man, I'd love to be able to get off this hamster wheel.
right.
And
Have you guys ever heard that word before? Shabbat envy? Is that like something people say? I've never heard of that. Never. I don't know. I mean, it might be. I don't think it is, but all right, Shannon.
do that. And he outlines that in the book about how it's not just physically resting, but it's really a soul rest.
It is.
Spending time with the Lord, regenerating there.
Mhm.
And he really challenges people in the book. And I
It
loved your
is.
forward where you talk about the tyranny of
And you guys, just to be clear, I agree that God does command it, and it's for our benefit, and it helps us to have a day to be with family, to rest, to not work, to reflect on the past week and prepare mentally for the week to come. But typically, as Christians, we do that on Sunday. We don't do that on starting on the Friday night, going into Saturday. That's the Jewish religion, and that's fine that they do it. I don't know that Charlie was saying we had to, adhere to that, the actual date and time when the sun went down and when the sun rose on Saturday morning. And like I said, there's nothing wrong. Like, yes, we need that. We should have that for ourselves. But I mean, this is more like this book, and this whole thing is like an infomercial for Judaism.
distraction, because we
Yeah.
all deal with that. And I think that noise only just gets louder and louder. The more we have technology, the more that we have people in our ear. So a radical step for him to say, like, nope, as busy as I am, I'm going to shut this down for 24 hours and refocus.
I know. And isn't that interesting how something as simple as a boundary
Mhm.
rocks the world? Like, it's okay to say, I'm just going to stop. This noise is not fueling to my soul.
I don't think it rocks the world. I don't think most people care. Like non-believers don't care that we go to church on Sunday, or like, Mormons aren't allowed to do a lot of things on Sundays. Like they can't do a lot of things that they can do the other 6 days of the week. I mean, we're not spending, us non-LDS members aren't spending a lot of time going like, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing this. I don't think anyone's spending any time and energy thinking about us taking Sundays to be in church and to worship and to be with our families. So I don't think it rocks the world. I don't know where that came from.
If I'm going to fulfill my mandate and fulfill what I need to do, I need to be able to hear from the Lord. And
No, your mandate and your obligation was what you and Charlie spoke about together on your own, not the ones that you're saying he said, which can't be corroborated, like that he said he wanted you to take over. Because then in the interview we'll look at tomorrow, that's not at all what he said. It's in complete opposition to what he said. But being with your kids, raising your kids, staying home, grieving, and focusing on your family, that's your obligation. That's what you need to do. That's what God's will is for your life right now.
I need to be able to just press pause, be with my family, recenter myself, and understand that echo chamber out there and social media out there is not real life. Those opinions are the opinions of others. But what matters is within these four walls. What matters is being able to just take the time to set a boundary and say, give me a minute. And like I've said before, it's the one commandment where if you don't partake in it, you're the one that misses out on the blessing that God has for you in that moment of rest.
Yeah, we know that.
And Charlie knew that.
Yes, so do we.
He knew that deeply.
And in that last chapter, he gives very practical ways that you can do this, which I always think is helpful, that it's not just saying,
you can Shabbat Shalom, daddy's home, phone is gone in the drawer.
Here's my argument for this and why I think that you should observe it. But when people say, I can't, I'm too busy, he says, here are some steps. This is the way you can do it. And I've heard you say, adjustments, not excuses.
Correct. And make it fun. It's not meant to be legalistic. It's meant to be a moment for you to be able to say, okay, you know what? I've waited all week for this moment. We're taking the kids hiking. Make it an adventure. Make it something really special with your spouse. And you can make it different every time. But the one thing I looked forward to the most on those days where Charlie honored the Sabbath was the note that he would write to me. And that was powerful. And he would always say, how can I serve you? How can I be a better husband?
You guys, this is 3 months after Charlie was assassinated. You're talking about a very personal and private thing. Once again, you're divulging something. Charlie never told us this. But then you want to draw the line on what you consider private and what's public. And you tell us what we are allowed to know, even though you tell us private things that Charlie never told us. So you break the code. But then when we ask things, then you're like, no, stop. That's it. Stop. Can I not have one thing? Can we not have one thing for ourselves? No. Sorry, you're a public figure. And you're crossing the line so many times with that casket video and so many other things. Erika.
Because I was saying the same thing. It wasn't just one way. We both knew that in order to make our marriage the most amazing covenant that it was always asking one another, how can we improve? How can we be better? How can we serve one another? Because your marriage came first, then your kids. So when you put the kids in front of your marriage, that's where some issues start. But Charlie and I always put each other first. I mean, obviously you put God first, you understand my sentiment, but he was very good about in those letters at the end, he would always say, how can I serve you? How can I be a better husband? And it's funny because I never actually took him up on that.
That's messed up. I mean, I can believe that. Why didn't you tell us that you wrote him any letters back? So he did all of these things for you, and you say it like all the time. You didn't write letters to him back? You didn't ask him how you could serve him? What you could do for him? I don't know, man. Seems like Charlie got the short end of the deal, or I don't want to say the other way of the phrase. I don't want to cuss, but
I never said, because he was just always so good. And I'm not saying our marriage was, the most, there was no blemishes of anything. We're human. But
well, you passed it off
we
like he
never,
was.
we never got into heavy, big screaming matches. That's not just us. We never did that. But
I don't believe that. I mean, I could see Charlie comes across to be pretty much a man of self-control. It was something he said he worked very hard on, and that was the thing lacking in young men today was self-control. I don't know. You seem like if you got mad and you didn't get something you wanted, based on the way you've interacted with the public and Candace Owens, and maybe some of the people you fired, I know you didn't do it yourself, but I mean, the fact that you could do that and how callous that is to me, that's like, bro, I wouldn't want to be on the other end of a angry Erika Kirk. I mean, she did say she's a fighter. If it came fight or flight, she's fighting. She's fighting. She's heavily competitive, played basketball since the age of 5, played basketball in college, worked with the military. I mean, did that CIA video about EMPs. I don't know, man.
it was a special reset for the week of how can I be there for you?
What do you say to people who don't get faith in marriage or religion in marriage, or that the biblical guide, where I find people will have misperceptions about submission and about a wife and what women are expected to do if they don't fully understand the scriptures, Ephesians 5, and all of those things that give guidance to the husband and the wife?
Ephesians 5 is beautiful. Submission's not a dirty word. It's a reflection of the bride of Christ. I was blessed to be able to submit to Charlie, and it wasn't a weakness. I'm the guardian of the home. He's the head of the household.
I mean, not anymore. You're not the guardian of the home. I mean, you should be, but how could you be being on the road 300 days a year?
He provides the house. I make it into a home. We complement
I mean, who's making your home into a home now?
each other. We're not in competition with one another. And it's supposed to show on full display our relationship with God and Jesus. And when you have a biblical marriage, it is powerful because God can use it in ways that will just absolutely blow your mind. But I have to tell you, being a widow in my 30s, I have seen the power of what a true covenant of marriage is, because although my husband is no longer here, God has stepped in and fulfilled that role for me. And it's powerful. And just like you said a minute ago, like, people are praying for you. I feel that. I used to always, when something tragic would happen to somebody and I would say, how can I help you? And they would say, just prayer. I'd be like, okay, but what else can I do? Can I make you food? What can I do? And I really underestimated the power.
Can you make them food? You just said you only know how to make chicken the other day. You going to just make them chicken?
Power of prayer for moments like that. But now I see it on full display of how powerful it is to be blanketed and covered by people's prayers. People you don't even know, people who you probably won't even meet until heaven. But you feel it. You feel a beautiful weighted blanket of prayer. And I'm so grateful.
I get that. And community is so important. Like you said, believers that you don't even know, there's an instant connection. So for you, I wonder if it was always tricky or if it's impossible now to worship in community, to actually go to church or go to mass, those kinds of things. You've got pastors in your life, I know, who can come to you and pour into you. But how does that look for you now, the idea of worship?
It's interesting. I intentionally have not, since 9/10, I have intentionally not brought my children to a full service. I did bring them to a daytime service at one point, but when it comes to Sunday or Saturday worship, when I would go to a physical church, I chose not to bring my children. I don't need the photos of my children. I would like to keep some things in my life very private. And Charlie,
Wait, you bring your kids to work where there's thousands of people, and for sure there's going to be paparazzi outside of the headquarters of TPUSA. But no one would know what church you go to. You could go to a completely different church than the one people expect you to go to. No one would know. But wait, you'll take them to work and risk them having their pictures taken and people seeing them and all that, but not church. Yeah, okay.
and I were very intentional about that with our kids. We would always believe that it's important to protect what you love. And I want my babies to have a childhood. I don't need them to be dragged through the mud on social media. They're precious to me. And so I try to find times where I can be a part of a larger service, but to be quite frank, I've been finding myself more and more tucking away into sanctuaries when it's just me alone with the Lord inside of.
And that really rich lady, there was just 3 people inside that, or 4. So there was that priest that set up that occasion, the wealthy lady, and then her and Stacy Sheridan. So she'll go to church as long as she knows she got the text from the father, the priest. Hey, I got her. She's coming. You better come here. You and Stacy need to get here. So she'll go to those. So not really alone, as long as she can talk to a very, very wealthy donor.
The church and just reading my Bible and taking with me one of Charlie's journals. And then outside of that, having amazing pastors and priests pour into me, and other incredible faith leaders.
Greg Laurie, Rob McCoy, that Michelle Randall lady, and then the priest that helps you get money from Catholic and Christian congregants.
And so to me, that's been the most healing. Quite frankly, I don't need a worship rock band right now. I really don't. I don't need the fog machine.
I mean, you're Catholic. Why would you say that? You don't go to like a modern non-denominational church that has any of those things. So what are you talking about?
I don't need the traditional, services that are out there. I actually just want peace and quiet and reverence and alone time with the Lord.
How do you do that running this company, being on the road, being around that many employees and that many of the other like high-level staff? How do you find time for peace and quiet and alone time with the Lord?
I crave that, and I deeply appreciate when I get it.
You would have got more of it if you just would have stayed home with your kids. Like you for sure would have got more of it.
And so many people started that journey in the wake of Charlie's death. I mean, people buying Bibles and going to churches. And, I would hear anecdotes and see for myself people who couldn't get into church parking lots. So for a lot of people, it was an introduction or a reintroduction to their faith. So somebody who's listening to our conversation, if they are interested or curious, where would you tell them to start when it comes to trying to figure out what faith is?
Well, there's 2 ways you can go about this. One, yes, buy a Bible for sure. Make sure you surround yourself with.
I'm surprised she didn't say make sure you get the Schofield Bible.
Bible-believing Christians that will pour into you. Not just plant a seed and leave, but really water that seed and love on you and walk and do life with you. The other thing that my heart just melts over this. We have over 9,500 churches within the TPUSA faith family now. 9,500.
And they're all on the FARA filing. I don't know if TPUSA did it or if these churches individually allowed the Foreign Ministry of Israel to take their data and to geotag and track their congregants and send them propaganda from Israel. But I mean, there's at least 9,500 on there.
And we have a church search, if you will, on our site to find those churches. And if you're able to find a church in your community and be surrounded by believers and lean into that, get to know the pastor, get to know the men's group, the women's group, the young teens group that they have at church, and really just dive straight in. Dive straight in. That's what Charlie would always do. He would just seek the truth so wholeheartedly. And to be able to know that there's been, even to your point, there's been over 200,000 people outside of already the massive number we have within TPUSA Faith, 200,000 people who have signed up to join TPUSA Faith since 9/10.
Yeah, we know you know the numbers. Yeah, for sure. You know exactly how much growth all the different organizations have had since Charlie was assassinated. Yeah.
And we don't take that lightly. I'll never take that lightly. Those are souls. Those are souls. And for me, if you're a new believer, welcome home. None of us are perfect. None of us are perfect. We're all sinners.
Unless you're Erika Kirk.
And Charlie always knew that. And it kept him so humble. And so when you walk with that knowledge, it's a wild journey, but it's an amazing one. But I do want to encourage people that when they do give their life to the Lord and they do say, make that commitment, I'm going to follow Christ, the enemy will immediately attack you. And it will come off as, holy cow, this is not worth it. And my God, it is. So just bear through it. And the Lord's going to strengthen you. But when you make that commitment, just keep walking one foot in front of the other. And we have a bunch of churches that can help you do that.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to ask you.
Yeah, they have the churches on their list, which for sure are doing, if you listen to Danks or Project Constitution, other people that are doing investigations into the FAR filings and the connection to the data collection and the surveillance that's happening through TPUSA, I would say if your church is on that list, I don't know, I'd avoid it. I'd find a church not on the list.
A couple of more current events questions that aren't necessarily faith related,
Totally.
if you're okay with that. I know that you had a lengthy conversation with Candace Owens in recent days.
Right. So that happened. Her Candace Owens meeting happened just like days before this interview.
Do you feel like, and you both are professing faith in Christ, do you feel like there's a connection there that can get through some of the differences and the noise? Did you feel like it resolved anything, or is there still more of a conversation for you two to have?
I think communication is something that's important regardless of who's sitting on the other end of the table.
Okay, she didn't ask you that. She didn't ask you what your thoughts and feelings are on communication, regardless of who's on the other side of the table. She asked you specifically about Candace Owens and the meeting that you just had. And if there's still division and strife, what do you got? Have you reached like a middle point? How about you just answer the question, unless you're going to break out in hives again because you can't answer questions directly. And there's another good face I paused on.
Our culture and our country is so afraid to talk to other people. And that's what Charlie was so good at, being able to sit at a table under a tent on college campuses with a microphone and say, if you don't agree with me, come to the front of the line.
Okay, so you're not doing that. You're saying, if you don't agree with me, I'm going to send you a cease and desist letter. I don't know Charlie ever did that, but you are. And you're saying, I'm not going to talk to you. You guys had that invitation to send out through Blake Neff and Andrew, like that challenge for Candace to come onto their show, but you have 24 hours to respond and you have to be in person. You can't do it over Zoom or virtually to sit down and talk on the show, to air it all out. And then you guys reneged on it and you took it back. And then your publicity got worse. She released more facts and more receipts. And then you guys decided, dude, we got to fly out to Tennessee. We got to have a face-to-face. And then you promised her that it was like a ceasefire for a little bit, much like Philadelphia's ceasefire. It's not a real ceasefire. No one was supposed to get on the air. Then you had Gary at Paramount Tactical actually go live on the air while it was happening. And Candace had no idea. And then you lie to her when you're there multiple times. She's told us all about it.
So Charlie goes to Berkeley, I go to Nashville. You come to the front of the line, you say what you have to say, Tell the audience, don't boo them, don't cackle.
Do you guys know what she meant by that? Charlie goes to Berkeley, I go to Nashville. I mean, she's not talking about when she went to Nashville to talk to Candace. Charlie was gone. I don't know what she's referencing there.
Don't do anything, let them speak. It took a lot for them to be able to come to the front of the line. They speak, they state their case. He has the microphone down. And then when they're done, he'll.
You guys, this is her answer about Candace Owens. What is she talking about right now? Freaking Shannon asked her about the meeting with Candace Owens and the beef and, you know, the argument happening online between her and Candace, the discrepancies in the stories, her narrative versus her narrative, who's really fighting for Charlie, trying to find out who killed Charlie. Candace, Erika, you're not even answering at all. You're like way down the road. You went a totally different direction. If this was a good journalist, you need to reel her back in. You need to get her back in, redeliver the question, and then make sure she answers it. You better not accept this, Shannon.
Pull his microphone up. A heavy percentage of the time when he would pull that microphone back up, he would be asking them a question back. And it wasn't because he didn't understand what they said. He was trying to find a common ground to start from so that he knew the base point of that conversation so he could move forward.
This is media training. It takes time to be able to do this, you guys. It takes practice. This is a skill to completely evade a question entirely, to go off and have a totally different conversation than the one that Shannon was trying to have and act like she's actually answering it. Erika is acting like she's answering the question. This is not the question Shannon asked.
I think people are afraid to talk to one another.
I mean, Candace wasn't. She offered you and your team at any point. It's a freaking open phone call, dude. You guys have been afraid to reach out. She's asked you guys to like confirm or deny alibis. No response. Take your thumb off of whose contact that is. Let me know that it's Charlie's. Won't do it. She knows Charlie's number. Whose kids are those? Those aren't your kids. No answer. You're afraid to talk to her. She's not afraid to talk to you.
And it's so simple.
Then do
but
it.
It looks so radical because we're hiding behind our phones.
You are.
Speaking through social media.
You are.
But when you sit with someone face to face, it puts a lot of things into perspective.
Like?
And that's also too, even with our events.
Nope, that wasn't the question. You almost did it. You almost told us about the sit-down meeting face-to-face with Candace, but specifically, not in generalities. What happened? We want to know.
Amfest. I'm not going to cancel somebody because you don't like what they say. I think it's powerful for people.
Okay, then why didn't Candace speak at Amfest? We know now Charlie in the months and weeks before was wanting Candace on, and the donors and certain people, from Philadelphia and pro Philadelphia said, don't do it, Charlie. Lori Cardoza Moore, or what was her first name? I know it's Cardoza Moore. But yeah, she freaking lit Charlie up for him sticking to his beliefs. Why was Ben Shapiro there? Huh? Him and Charlie did not get along, completely at odds with one another. Why was he there? Why wasn't Candace there?
To say things and you let truth stand alongside that to prove even more that truth can withstand scrutiny.
Yeah, I know for sure the truth that Candace and others are getting out to us will withstand scrutiny. What you're doing isn't truth, and it's not withstanding the scrutiny. That's how you can tell. Like, your answer in and of itself proves that you're not telling the truth because it's not withstanding the scrutiny. It's crumbling under the scrutiny.
And if you don't allow for civil discourse and dialogue, then you're just going to result to even more violence.
Oh, is that what you want?
And I have seen how that result pans out. And so until my last breath, I will communicate with people, even if I don't disagree, or even if I do agree. But what's the harm in sitting down with?
Even if I don't disagree, and even if I do agree. Wait, isn't that the same thing? Oh my God, you're making my head hurt. Holy smokes.
someone in breaking bread or even just sitting down with
I mean,
them.
wouldn't be the thing to say, like, even if I do or didn't agree. I don't know. She's making my head hurt right now. But she still hasn't answered about Candace. Like, what is going on? Shannon is just letting her go on and on.
With no bread
Mm-hmm.
and just saying, okay,
We're talking about bread?
where are we at here? And moving
Wait, you guys, Shannon asked her about bread? Oh my God, I forgot. No, I'm just kidding. There was no bread in the question.
forward from there.
Did you feel like you have common ground? You have some common ground with Candace? I mean, you both.
Okay, okay, at least you followed it up and you're like, okay, I kind of need an answer. Like, can you please answer the question? Grieving widow. I know I can't push too hard. It's going to look really bad. And you guys told me I can't, but I kind of need an answer.
Want to honor Charlie's legacy, it seems. I mean, you both say that you want to know exactly what happened. Do you feel like there was some common meeting of the minds there?
I'm not going to speak on her behalf.
No, you don't have to speak on her behalf. Nice freaking media training, PR freaking response, man. She asked you what your thought was on it. Do you have common ground? You should know based on the meeting, like, yeah, we had some things we agreed on. Like Candace said that. She said, you know what? I came out with a lot of answers, but I also came out with more questions. Like she said that. She thought it was productive. Okay. You can't say anything. You can't say anything. I'm not going to speak on that at all.
But what I do know is that my COO and myself, when we walked into that meeting, we were very intentional with why we were there, provided what we wanted to provide to show context and also to show we have nothing to hide, never will.
Well, that's not true. Erika, you can tilt your head and do that thing with your eyes. That doesn't make it true. You clearly have something to hide. You weren't there to answer any questions. You barely answered anything. The things you did answer raised more questions. We found out you lied. It seems that you were there with Justin Strife and Justin lied. And she even said that on her last episode before last. You guys were there to freaking intel gather. You guys were there to ask her questions to find out what she knew. Where was she going with the things that she was investigating? It was an intel gathering op.
Have anything to hide. And you just let the Lord do the rest. But I'm not going to sit and judge how anyone interpreted anything.
That wasn't the question. Did you guys find common ground? Did you guys meet in the middle? Like, is the beef over? Was anything resolved? What was the outcome? Is there an open line of communication still? No, you won't say nothing. Can't say I'm surprised.
Outside of myself. So pray for her. I pray for her family.
I feel like that was a threat. That's like a threat without saying it. I pray for your family. I'm praying for your family, Candace. Like, what? I mean, like the normals, I'll pray for you. I'll pray for you. But then you're like, I'll pray for your family. I don't know. That just sounds like a freaking threat.
And let the Lord handle the rest. We're building.
We're
I don't
building.
have time for the noise. I said my
You guys, she doesn't have time to answer our questions and our concerns and find out who killed her husband. She's building.
piece. And that's it. And we get back to work.
You are busy at work. So what is the end goal for TPUSA?
Oh my goodness. Well, aside from continuing the legacy and making sure that this machine that my husband built outlives all of us, it's making sure we're going to be back on campus. We're going to continue prove me wrongs on the quad.
Who? Erika, who? Cabot Phillips? Mikey McCoy? Andrew Colvett? Blake Neff? Who's going to do it? Jack Posobiec? Matt Walsh? Steven Crowder? None of those guys are Charlie. Are you going to do it? No, you're not. Oh, you want this whole organization to outlive everyone and everything, even though like in theory, that's great. But I mean, that just shows like how far down the line you want this system of power and control to continue to affect change in the United States. And we haven't figured out if this is going to be good change or this is something that's now in the hands of the powerful elite and will use it for their will, for their whims. It seems like that's what it is.
We're not afraid. We're going to be doing campus events at night. We have all of our tour stops with TPUSA Faith, with our Make Heaven Crowded tour that's coming up.
Yeah, we know that.
We have, all of our amazing chapters. The fact that we're having so many different governors partner with us for Club America.
They're making it mandatory for public schools have to allow for TPUSA to open chapters in their high schools. And they're doing it so they can create behavioral profiles on every kid that downloads an app or clicks on a QR code that links them to a TPUSA website or an app immediately. This is the largest data collection, behavioral mapping, so that they can create something like the Everything app, like in China. Mass surveillance. I'm not kidding. I'm not the only one that's looked into this. Go look at Danks and Project Constitution. They're doing outstanding work on this.
It is so humbling and powerful, but it's also showing the youth of America that your voice does matter and that you do matter. Because so long, Gen Z has been looked at as
Gen Z.
dismissed or, the confused generation, and they're not. They're not. And the fact that we're having leadership pay attention.
Okay, is it more weird that she didn't plug the book? Like they talked about it, but she's just holding the book. Like I thought she was at some point gonna like hold up the book and be like, yeah, and go buy the book. And this is my husband's book. And she's just holding it. It's just like a product placement ad.
And say, you know what? I get asked by my donors all the time, what are you doing for the youth? And my solution is Club America.
No, Erika, I think your donors are asking, what are you doing to target the youth so that we can get their data and begin creating behavioral profiles on every single one of them? That's what it looks like. Nice eyes.
That is humbling to hear from our leaders, and it's powerful to witness.
Well, it's powerful to witness you walking forward, moving forward
My
with the
God,
covering of
Shannon.
millions of people and their prayers over you as well. So thank you. It's been good to
God
have you
bless
with us.
Thank you.
All right. Enough is enough is enough. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we went for an hour and 38 minutes. So that will conclude the video portion and commentary of the night. I will save Charlie's last interview. It's a much shorter a video that we'll do on the next live. Are you guys down tomorrow? I mean, I can put up the link ahead of time so you guys can prepare for it. I can read some questions now if you guys want to throw some questions in the chat or comments or anything, and I can read it out to you, to everyone. And let me see. So great. We had up to 23 people at any given time interacting in the chat. I mean, there was more. There was like close to 700, or there was at one point 700 viewers in the chat watching the video. We have 7,888 views already. Let me go back to here. Let me update this. Let's see what this is at now. Okay. Let's refresh. Oh, it's changing. Where is it? Okay, I don't know why it's doing that. The membership is being weird. How many subscribers? It's like changing. I refresh it. It's going one way, then it's going the other way. I don't know. I'll wait for it. All right. Thank you, Mara O'Neill. Wait, no, it was Marin O'Neill. Maran. One of these days I'll be able to pronounce it. Or if you spell it how it's phonetically sounds, and then I can read it. A lot of the names, unless it's like an obvious one, I don't want to butcher everyone's name. We got Ms. Jilly, just found you and sub. Thank you, Ms. Hit the thumbs up. Yeah, everyone, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. It helps so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys so much for being here. Let's see. Okay, Shannon sitting there. Let her talk. Yeah. Shannon a dope. Yeah. Okay. So Charlie was used. Charlie was used to start brainwashing process the kids. Another fake hero used and dumped. I don't know. I don't think he was like brainwashing kids, but I mean, everyone's allowed their own opinion. Quinn, same. Okay. Matthew, brush up on her knowledge about how Erika met Charlie. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Well, I mean, I know my last video went over that. I mean, so Tyler Boyer was trying to set up the meeting multiple times. She went to meet him. Well, she was in Israel and almost met him, right? And then almost met him at the headquarters in Arizona, and then did meet him like very briefly at the headquarters in Arizona. All of which she's known Charlie. She knew Tyler for a long time, and Tyler knew Charlie since like 2014. So that's who they had in common. And Tyler's the one that just was egging Charlie to eventually sit down and do the interview with Erika. And they finally did it in the Hamptons when she was at the Hamptons, but then met him in New York. Tyler Boyer was the reason they met in 2017, 18 is when they met. Yeah. And it was through Tyler Boyer. Let's see. Why isn't this? Let me scroll down. Trust the science. Just found you. Okay, hit the sum. Yep. Laugh out loud. I don't get the hate towards Erika. Tyler Robinson can snicker and laugh in court, and yet people go after her. I mean, looking at everything from the day Charlie was assassinated to now, there's so many things to cover. I couldn't answer this in one question. We're not attacking Erika. There is lots and lots of substantial evidence as to how suspicious and bizarre her behavior is. If you've been keeping up on this and you've been watching it, you would know. If you're not, then you're not, and you're not informed, and that's fine. You don't need to be here. It's all good. Okay, Matthew, brush up. I did. I just told you about that. Grit, sir. Crap. Did I miss it? Oh, the live? Yeah, it just ended. But you could go back and watch it. It was really good. And it helps the views and everything and the algorithm, and you can hit the like. New subscriber, I'll be here for the CK interview. Thank you, Julie. Yeah, it's going to be really good. It was his last interview. It was also behind a paywall, so I don't think a lot of people have seen it. Everyone hit that like. Yeah, Autobot 9. Okay, I think Tyler is not worried about getting off. I don't either, because I don't think he did it. And based on Brandy and Billy, I can't wait for that interview to come out. The parents think not involved at all. Lance Twiggs's family, I mean, they think that they were unwitting participants in something that they weren't fully aware of what they were doing, but they think that this is Lance Twiggs's family, though. And so I don't know how much weight I put on that, but I much more believe Brandy and Billy when they interviewed Tyler's like actual parents and family, that they like, there's no way Tyler would have done this. And just, I mean, with all the evidence and lack of evidence, nothing points to him. There's no physical evidence that actually puts him at that place at that time with a rifle. And nothing even points to that a bullet killed Charlie. I mean, there's so many issues with the official story. And so, I mean, either and you clearly would question everything, including Erika and TPUSA, the official story and narrative, or you don't know. And then you're just speaking out of lack of understanding and ignorance. And, I'll say what Barron said. This is a high IQ outfit. We don't need you here, Joe. You can go, Joe. All right. Thank you, Blackline. Appreciate your coverage of this. Great breakdown on all this. Thank you. Thanks for the thumbs up. Let's see. Yes, but B rewatch crew. It's worth it. Yeah. Mystic Gypsy. Thank you. Guys, go hit the like. There's 650 of us and only 235 likes. Love this guy. Wish him and Barron could get together. Kathy, I'm trying. I'm reaching out. I mean, most of those channels, they're massive. And Barron still, I think it's just him. I think his sister's going to start working for him. I don't know if that started yet. Admin, like going through emails, like Coach Colin, Danks, Barron. I mean, there's so many, I don't want to leave them out, but I've reached out to all of them. Trigger Smart, Kelly Ribbon. So hopefully I hear back from one of them. You know, I'd love to work with one of them and do a video or even just an appearance. It'd be cool. But I also get it. They're really big. I'm really small. It doesn't necessarily benefit them to have me on. And so I get it. But maybe I'll let you guys know. Maybe you guys drop my name in one of their comments and be like, hey, you guys should have Matt from the Black Line Brief on, and drop some hints that way. And we'll see what happens. I've reached out though. Okay. No wonder that interview is behind a paywall. I know. Yeah. And same with Charlie's, because everything he says in this interview is like completely contradictory to everything Candace is doing. I mean, Erika is doing and Erika is saying. Yeah, and attributing to Charlie and what he wanted and what he said and what he told her to do, and yeah, his legacy and his vision for Turning Point. It's crazy. We'll get into it. From Romania, thank you. This woman is dangerous and fool. So she have to go to hell. I mean, at least jail. I mean, there's still time for repentance. I don't know that she was involved in the actual assassination, but for sure it seems like something. It just seems it's just off, and we can't put our finger on it. We don't know what we're looking at, but we know it's not right and it's not normal. So hit the like if you're not a Fed. Yeah, hit the like if you're not a Fed for sure. No, even if you are a Fed, hit the like. I'll take your free like, but then just see your way out the door after you hit the like, Fed. Yes, we need Baron to reach out to you, BLB. Yeah, drop some hints on their comments. I post, I interact with him. I'm a member. I'm a paying member to his channel. And I enjoy it. I love it. And so, I mean, I comment and I do super chats from my profile, my Black Line Brief profile. So I know he sees, well, he's seen it maybe a couple times. Sometimes he doesn't get to super chats that are lower. Not that I'm giving low amounts, but like sometimes people are giving $100 or $50. I'm not giving that much. And so sometimes my super chat doesn't make it into the red portion of the night. So, hey everyone, I just came across your video tonight. I'm definitely subbing. I enjoyed your live. Thank you so much. I'll be doing a live. I'm going to do a live tomorrow. I'm going to do a breakdown of Charlie's last interview. It is deeply insightful. All right. I'll create the thumbnail, and everything either tonight. It's 9. No, we've been in here a minute. I'll do it first thing in the morning and I'll preload it so that it'll show you the time that it's going live. And as long as you guys have clicked the notifications, you have to click the all. It'll usually click you guys automatically to, like, I forget what it says, but it's not all. You want to click the all so that you get notified when I'm going live and if I post a new video. I don't do ridiculous content or do short videos and over post or anything like that. So you won't be bombarded from my channel, but it's a great way to know when I'm going live. And the weekends are the times I can post ahead of time that I'm going live. And tomorrow I'll post early, so you'll have a lot of foreknowledge of when I'm going live. Let's see. I do believe they tried to orchestrate a spontaneous meeting. Which meeting? The one in Fort Huachuca? Who's they? Because we don't believe Tyler's guilty. 100%. Yeah, we don't believe Tyler's guilty. 100% agreed. Autobot, it was from Fox Nation subscription, I believe. Yes, that's where the interview was from. There are many clips of that interview online, but not in its full entirety. You have to pay like $9 for a membership to get access to that. And then I saw directly underneath that one is Charlie's last interview. And I've seen clips from that one, but I've never seen it in full. And I started watching it tonight and I was like, whoa, it's good. Like, look, I got timestamps. I need to finish going through all the timestamps so that we don't have to watch the entire thing. Like when the interviewer starts talking, like he just, I don't care what that guy has to say. I know what the question is. I'll tell you what Charlie's answering, and then we'll just get right to what Charlie's saying. It'll go much quicker, and then we can get to our comment portion. So it won't be like this. Let's see. Perkins, welcome. Word up. Tyler is the fall guy. Yep, 100%. Glenn Coco. Ooh, I see. Tyler Robb is a patsy, just like Lee Harvey was. Let's see. Erika forgives you for her sins. She forgives me for her sins? Yeah. All right. All right. Keep focusing. Thank you. Building like a Mason, perhaps. Like a Freemason. I mean, have you seen the rings and the Knights of Malta cross on her necklace? Yeah, maybe. She's a master builder. It was bomb, not a bullet. Yeah. The shape charge in the road mic. Yeah, 100%. Like, I believe the shape charge in the road mic was supposed to simulate a 30-06 injury into his center mass, and it didn't for whatever reason. I think it was because it was clipped on wrong. And I mean, there's just sometimes you plan for game day. Like, I was in the Marine Corps, you plan for a battle, but when you're in the suck, everything, your whole plans go out the window, and you gotta improvise. And I think that's why we heard that BS story from Erika and Andrew Colvett about the Superman neck. And then they were like, yeah, but then the bullet fragmented, it hit up, and then it hit down, and it went through 6 vertebrae. And they're like, oh no, but it's a frangible round. But then everyone tested frangible rounds. All frangible rounds go through. The shirt movement alone shows that it wasn't a bullet. The shirt would not move from a bullet. Okay, number one. And then I also think he was electrocuted. So I think it was electrocution of the mic he was holding that was probably grounded, and then they removed the grounding, and that would have done it. There's a way more than enough electricity to do that immediately. And then I think this failed, but it went across and it hit him in the neck. It wasn't supposed to hit him in the neck. That was an accident, and I think that's where a lot of the panic and the confusion set in. And I think they had like all of these these stories, and they had all their people ready to get the narrative out there. But all of that changed on the day of, when he got hit in the neck with the piece of plastic, fragment from the road mic. And you can see the video, like there's black pieces of plastic that right after the explosion, after he gets hit, there's black pieces of plastic that flew up and bounced off the top inside of the canopy, and then they fall down. Okay. The Cyclonite, Accurate Energetic Systems in Tennessee actually built these microscopic shape charges, micro shape charges, and then it blew up 30 days later and everyone died. Yeah, I think there's just way too much to believe the official story anymore, you guys. All right, let's see. Can you put the link for his very last interview? I didn't know it was pay-per-view. It's not pay-per-view. It's on Fox Nation on their website, but you have to pay to get it. If I put it in the link, it's not going to give it to you. My wife, we tried to do it. Like, she did it first and then sent it to me, and then I went to click on it and it wouldn't let me view it. It says you got to pay it. And so I had to cancel her subscription, and then I had to do a whole nother subscription just so I could do it on my computer upstairs, because this computer's not linked to her phone and everything. So even if I put it in, it's not going to let you view it. But if you just go on Fox Nation, and if you pay for the trial, it's $9, then you can view it, or you can do it for free tomorrow with us, and you'll get my commentary, and we're going to watch it, and it's going to be good. Let's see. Keep focusing. Thank you, Billy. Oh yeah, I read that already. Let's see. Go down. Some of your details about their meeting are incorrect. About whose meeting? Candace and Erika's. I have the full info posted on my channel, including dates. Okay, I don't know what was wrong. I didn't make many claims about the meeting, but I mean, okay. Sounds good. Okay, that's amazing. Mikey McCoy walked away for our sins so we could run and so he could call Erika. Yeah, but he didn't, right? He called his wife first, and she was on the phone for 3 minutes with him, and then they three-wayed Erika after. But he also called his dad, right? And then he called JD Vance, and he had blood all over him, but then he didn't. But he doesn't know why his dad said that. Let's see. If Tyler is so innocent, why doesn't he say as much? I mean, there's lots of reasons why his attorneys would be advising him not to make any public statements, not to enter a plea just yet. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you're a lawyer and you have some firsthand knowledge as to why someone in a criminal case for aggravated murder, like in front of children, and like there's so many reasons as to why his team of lawyers would be advising him to not make any public statements right now. Okay. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court down the line. So they would say, don't give any material, don't give them any content. Just wait. And he's going to have to enter a plea soon. Okay. He never admitted guilt. When they brought him in, he did not admit guilt. Okay. He didn't say, I did it. The only thing they have to say that he said he did it is that BS freaking text message between him and Lance Twiggs, and then that stupid Discord chat, which doesn't prove anything. All right. Both Mikey and Erika constantly repeat the story of how Charlie pursued them. Both Mikey and Erika constantly repeat the story of how Charlie pursued them, convinced them to join him. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Erika met him through Tyler Boyer. They tried to set it up like 4 times. It didn't happen. Then it finally happened. Charlie did this interview with her, grilled her for 3 hours. This is the official story. Then he said, I'm not going to hire you. I'm going to date you. And then they dated, got engaged, and got married. Like, Charlie didn't pursue her to work for him. Mikey McCoy is the son of Rob McCoy. Charlie Kirk was speaking at his dad's church. He needed a ride to the airport. His dad, Rob, was like, Mikey, take him to the airport. And during that drive, Charlie grilled Mikey. This is the official story that everyone puts out there, everyone at TPUSA. And during that grilling, kind of like the story about Charlie grilled Erika for 3 hours in that first interview. After that interview, Mikey goes home and tells his dad what happened. And Rob was like, I think that was an interview, son. And then Charlie offered him a job. So, I mean, I don't know what you're saying, but I never said that, like, I don't even know what that's in connection with. I didn't make a claim about Mikey today. I wasn't talking about Mikey. But all of them came into the picture after Erika came into the picture. That's my point. Okay, I believe it was the microphone personally. Yeah, I mean, I at least believe it was 50% the microphone for sure. The decorticate posturing, okay, that would only happen with a deep brain injury, right? And if the bullet didn't hit him and it was the microphone that exploded and hit the jugular, that piece of plastic, you actually see it come back out of the neck. So you can't explain that. Explain the decorticate posturing and how he locks up like that. The only reason he would lock up like that is if he was hit by a bullet that actually went up and hit him in the spine and deep in the base of the brain, or he was electrocuted. Okay. And then why when that piece of plastic made the wound, it was a delay. If he was electrocuted and his heart was already done beating, that's why we wouldn't see spurting. What we saw was like a gush of blood. And then after that, there was like no blood. It was just kind of the blood that was there was just kind of like in puddles coming out. It wasn't like squirting like it was beating. I think his heart was done. And then I think it went off. And then I think that's when it hit him in the neck. I don't think it was supposed to hit him in the neck. I think it was supposed to hit him in the chest. But yeah, it happened that way. And that's just what I believe. Let's see. They want her to be vice president with JD Vance. Yeah. Mikey and Frank Turek at least said it. He said he's not giving up on the Vance Kirk ticket. It was supposed to be Charlie and Vance in 28. That's what we found out. Kathy Byler, when you're 20 and your legal team says to keep quiet, he's probably scared and keeping quiet. Yeah. Yeah. And imagine you haven't done anything. Like, let's just play this out. You haven't done anything. And they have all this stuff. And he's like, he's up against the full weight of the FBI, the state of Utah, the prosecution. And he's like, dude, they literally have framed me for this. He's not going to say anything. He's not. And then let's say he's guilty. Then he's not going to say anything either. But I don't believe that he's guilty in saying anything, because I don't think any of the evidence that they put forth at all proves anything that Tyler was there. I just don't. What does Black Line Brief mean? It's the line in which false information doesn't cross. You can look in the description on the channel. I've written it out really nice in the description on the channel homepage. You can just click on the description and it explains it in detail. But it has to do with like truth and information and seeking answers and not narratives. And Yeah, that's why we're here. All right, let's see. You and Baron are the best. Thank you. Okay, I think Tyler is claiming to be innocent. He hasn't made a plea of innocence. He hasn't made any claim of innocence. He's never claimed guilt or innocence yet. But they first reported that, for one, he was afraid to die, but he also was suicidal. That his parents turned him in. His parents didn't turn him in. His parents were manipulated by that LDS pastor who used to be a cop and then was also in the military, who pretty much like scared them, like, hey, everyone thinks he did it. Look at this. Look at this. And they got him on the phone and were like, dude, you need to turn yourself in. They're going to find you in this day and age. And if you don't turn yourself in, they might kill you. You need to come in. And he came in. And then immediately they said, oh, he turned himself in willingly and admitted guilt. And then the next day they're like, but he's not participating, but he's not cooperating. Yeah, no, he wasn't cooperating at all. He turned himself in because he was afraid you guys were going to kill him, and he couldn't believe what was happening. He didn't admit guilt. He hasn't proclaimed innocence. He's listening to his lawyers. It's their job. They're the experts in this, and so he's doing what they tell him. 100%. Great commentary. Thank you. Hey, Matt, I appreciate you playing my video last night. Oh, hey, someone said you were in the chat the other day. Yeah, I actually, dude, I subscribed to your channel on X. You are hilarious. I'll probably play other stuff by you. I always give whoever I use on my channel, like I give them a shout out, and I direct people to their page, whether it's a channel on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, whatever it is. Keep it up. You're hilarious. Really good stuff. Thank you for being here. Hopefully you subscribe and like. Maybe are you a subscriber to the channel? I'd appreciate it. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. I'd appreciate it. I'm glad you're here. Okay, I think they kept Charlie so busy the past few years. And while Tyler Boyer, while TB, I don't know what the TB, Tyler Boyer, etc., set up Finn and legal stuff to steal money, in my opinion. Then after Trump elected, CK started asking questions. I definitely think he was spread extremely thin. I think he delegated. I think it grew exponentially when Erika Kirk came in on the scene in 2008. It's been documented. I did a video about it. The TPUSA under him and Bill, not McGovern, Bill, oh my God, I can't remember his last name right now. It grew like very gradually and like naturally over the first few years. And then in 2018, and she came into the picture, it was like millions, and then double, and then triple, and then quadruple. And then at that time, that's also when Tyler, not Tyler Boyer, he came in 2014, but that's when like Andrew Colvett, Blake Neff, and a lot of the other shady characters started showing up in like 2021 and on. And I think that then he started delegating. I think people started taking on more. And I think he's the face. I think he is the talent. He focused on a lot of things, and I think he was not as up to date on all the other stuff. I think, though, he found out in the last 6 months. That's why I think he wrote that email and issued the Doge style effort. And in there, he also said that Justin Strife needed to reshape company culture, as well as do a full financial audit or effort. Don't sue me. Effort. It's an effort. Okay. All right. Because that's the word you use. Okay. Hey, Matt, I appreciate you playing. Oh, yeah, that was that. Okay. I think I read that. Okay. Username and pick. Ha, ha, ha. Huh? I don't know. All right. Thanks so much, Matt. You're welcome. Thank you. Okay. I was watching Baron before he got big. I was there the night he did the first Charlie video. I think it was the 10th. Yeah. When he's talking about the Google searches. Yeah. I started watching him before he got big, but not that early. It was like when he was still doing the Google searches, before Candace, I think, found out about it and then mentioned him. And Ian also plugged Baron. She took the money. She's involved. Yeah, I mean, for sure. Candace Owens has always been a conspiracy theorist. Okay, you do know that term was created by the government to discredit people that were finding out the truth about like hidden, like MK Ultra, COINTELPRO, Iran Contra, UFOs. Like that term was used to make people just stop listening to people. That's a conspiracy theorist. It's a psyop tool. So no. And you know what the difference between a conspiracy theory and a true conspiracy that ends up being proven true? Just time. Everyone that believed Lee Harvey Oswald was a patsy and that the government and the CIA had anything to do with Teddy, MLK, or JFK were all called conspiracy theorists and that they were crazy. And same with UAPs and UFOs. Well, now the government's admitted to all of them. So, I mean, okay, dude, or ma'am. I don't know. I can't tell by your name, but all right. She's not a conspiracy theorist, but I see what you're doing there. All right, let's see. Yes, Erika Kirk, I got your back. Yes. Okay, 100. It's absolutely gross what EK is doing on Charlie's memory. Yeah, I agree. Wait till you see the video, the interview tomorrow. You'll be like, yeah, it's 100%. She's not doing what he wanted. And most of the things she said since he's been gone is just a lie. Erika's first stop on her tour when she said, "Oh my God, I have to fix my microphone." She knows exactly what happened to Charlie. Oh, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of reading into it, but I mean, on what tour? On the Make Heaven Crowded tour at the Harvest Christian Fellowship at Greg Laurie's church? I don't remember that part. She said, "I have to fix my microphone." Okay, great show, Matthew. Thank you. Let's see. Exactly. Okay. Oh, thanks. I'm a member to Baron as well. Yeah, me too. Okay, Charlie Kirk is probably the stay-at-home dad now, and Erika is the provider. I mean, Jesse is Jesse on Fire and Trigger Smart are both. They're doing some investigation as to the possibility Charlie's still alive. It's interesting. I'll say that much. I'm not there yet, but I can't wait for Jesse's next video. I think it's interesting. It's a good argument, but we'll see. Erika Kirk, we love your videos. Subscribing to your channel from Baron Coleman Podcast. Definitely. Thank you. You're the best. Citizen 22, year 7. Okay. Great work. We will definitely get some more eyes on your work. Thank you, MLM Marty 316. Awesome. Jim Bear. Happy to make people laugh through this very heavy time. Yeah. Yeah. And what's his name? JP Sears. His stuff's been phenomenal. Like you guys both have made a difficult situation lighter, and that's what satire is and comedy is. And yeah, love it. Got to tend to my dog pack. Thanks for another good time. Catch y'all on the flippity flop. Thank you, Mystic Gypsy. Go take care of those dogs. My dogs are waiting for me downstairs. Is that interview with the restaurant group? The entrepreneurs? The group of entrepreneurs? I don't know. Is it the restaurant group? Oh, they were talking about restaurants in it. I think so. Yeah. Meeting of Charlie and Erika. We know how they met. At least we know how Charlie even said how they met. They met at that interview that Tyler set up. But Tyler had tried to set that up prior. Like she almost met him in Israel, supposedly. Like who almost runs into someone like 5 times that they end up marrying and then meets them through this Tyler person and then marries them. To me, that's deliberate. That's coordinated. That's planned. That's not organic. That doesn't happen. I didn't almost meet my wife 5 times. I didn't see her, then oh my God, now I'm doing it. Like it just doesn't happen that way. The world's really big. All right. First time watcher for Baron. He's super busy with getting his channel up and running. Ian Carroll might be easier for reach. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've reached out to Baron Coleman, Ian Carroll, Coach Colin, Danks, Project Constitution. I think that's it. But I'll do any. Oh, and Trigger Smart. Yeah. They're all amazing. Like I freaking watch all their stuff all the time. I'm a diehard fan of all of them. You don't have to like every video that every content creator makes. I don't agree with everything Jesse says or does, or even Trigger Smart for that reason, or for that matter. But I mean, I'm on the same page 90% of everything they're doing. I don't know about Charlie still being alive. I'm not there. I don't think that yet. But that's fine that Jesse thinks that, and Trigger Smart they're trying to, they speculated. I don't know if they actually think that. They said this is a theory. I think it's interesting, but let's see. To watch it where? To watch what where? Why would a young man like Tyler, with his whole life ahead of him, agree to be a patsy? I don't think he agreed to be a patsy. It doesn't make much sense to me that people think that. No one said he agreed to be a patsy. I said his Lance Twiggs's family thinks he was an unwitting patsy. I mean, patsies don't partake in these big events because they think they're going to get caught, especially when they have connections to the FBI and the CIA and local law enforcement. They think for sure, 100%, they're going to help with this and they're going to be fine. They're going to get off. Like it's not an issue. Unknowingly, they're the ones being targeted to be the fall guy. And so it wouldn't have been him knowing. It would have been him thinking the complete opposite, and then them being the whole time, they're the patsy, but they're the only ones that didn't know that. All right. Some of these popular streamers are dumb. I thoroughly enjoy your channel. If you keep going, you make it huge for sure. Thank you, Autobot9. Neo, okay, just like when she mistakenly called the guy a grifter, yeah, on the stage. Yeah, she apologized to that guy, but didn't say that Charlie wasn't a grifter. I believe she had resentment for Charlie. I mean, interesting. Jealousy. I think she wanted what she's got right now. The audience were not Charlie fans. Started out fairly hostile or unreceptive at least, but I think Charlie impressed. By the end of the interview, I think the audience liked him. Okay. Yep. I wasn't really talking about the fans or anything like that. Okay. Electrocution causes a blowout on some part of the body. Yeah, it could. Yep. But there's no video of that part of the body. No one saw anything. And I mean, it depends on how long the current goes through, how heavy, how harsh the current is. There's a lot of factors that we don't know. So thanks, Marty. Okay, we will know more about this case when the evidence comes out in court. No. You think that they're going to give factual evidence in court? Are you new? You think our court system isn't broken and flawed? You think the prosecution's going to bring all facts? No, the prosecution is going to prove their case. The defense, all they have to do is prove doubt. They just have to enter doubt into the equation. And if there's reasonable doubt, then Tyler gets off. The defense isn't like got to prove anything. That burden is on the prosecution. The defense just has to show doubt, that there's a reasonable person would have reasonable doubt. The prosecution has to prove it, but they're not going to prove the truth. They're going to pick a lane and try to prove that. And any murder, you need the murderer. It's very hard to convict anything on anyone without an actual physical person, without a physical weapon. Murder suspects without a weapon usually don't get proven. You got to have a link to the crime. I mean, all the things that they had, and then they got the letter. It's just like, come on, you guys. I know most of us don't think that, but anyway. All right, I got to scroll down further down. Oh my God, this chat is super big. Yeah, love JP Spears. Okay, her eyes are a physical tick, revealing deception. Agreed. Everyone wondering how she could just dump her kids after their dad being killed. That doesn't make sense. Such a religious family. I agree. Fuentes gone to hell since CK death. Now we know who Fuentes listened to get his ideas. Yeah, I was bummed, man. Like he said a lot of questionable things before. But he was like on the road to redemption. Like people were really giving him chances and like listening to him. And then he turned on Candace, and then he did he just became a Fed slop narrative. He looks like an FBI plant, you know. Let's see. Catherine, maybe if you stick around, we'll surprise you. Yeah, exactly. It all looks so shady. If he's a real patsy, they will easily set up the trial. 100%, exactly. 100%. they're not going to leave anything to chance. Come on. Her eyes are her tell, her tick. I like that. Yeah, it is. Let's see. Tyler is innocent. Yep. Thank you. Dino946. Let's see. That I'm not sure about. We know more if Jack. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, you know who Jack Ruby is and who his connections with, and that JFK had a lot of enemies, and the people that were involved in the assassination was like the mafia, the mob, deep state, CIA, the Castro hit squad, the Wet Works hit squad. I know a lot about that. Like, I know a lot about World War II, Operation Paperclip, the Nazi. Like, I'm fascinated about certain things, and I've like all my spare time has like in the past. I don't watch like a lot of normal TV. I watch documentaries, I listen to podcasts, and I read books. You can ask my wife. That's what I do. I like information. And yeah, Lee Harvey didn't kill anyone, man. Yeah. Anyway. And there's so much doubt. Yeah, I agree. There's so much doubt. All right. Good night. Great hanging out with everyone. Thanks. Jack Rubenstein, his real name. Oh yeah, Jack Ruby. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I was just answering the person's question. Hey, thank you guys so much. I will put the thumbnail in for the interview with the commentary for tomorrow early so everyone can know when it's coming. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Have a great night. Have a good Saturday night. I'll see you guys next time.